Hello everyone, how guys doing? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we're here with a video on the market cap for the top 5 GOATs for soccer in terms of, what is their total rookie market looking like? How much money is in there in this card and this card and this card, compare them all together. Then you can sort of get an idea in terms of what are the preferred cards for each player. And then we'll finish it up by putting them all together and comparing the top 5 GOATs head to head and sort of seeing where they all stand. So hopefully you guys enjoy. It should be a very fun, informative video. At least I thought it was. Did take me a lot of time, a lot of spreadsheet work and all that stuff. So if you guys do enjoy, I would greatly appreciate a like. Helps the channel, helps me a ton, and sort of shows that you enjoy this type of stuff, which then makes me make more. So if you want to do that, I'd appreciate it greatly. Also, let me know any of your thoughts down below, as there's a lot of interesting stuff in this. But with that said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Before we get into it, one note that I would like to add is this market cap is purely based off of the PSA graded pops. Makes it easy, digestible, and gives us one less variable. So we're comparing the top 5. This is my own personal top 5, and also the top 5 I think that collectors would put together for you as well of soccer players. Now, notably, there is no one before 1950, so if you're someone that's like, all eras should be respected, well, I am disrespecting that one. It's also just not as, in the ecosystem of most collectors, so I don't feel like it's worthy of being in this one. It would sort of be the odd man out, really. But so the top 5, Messi, Pele, Ronaldo, Cruyff, Maradona. Before we get into it, if you want to try the experiment at home of guessing where these guys are going to line up, I'll basically tell you that the range is going to be from 500K to 20 mil for their market caps, right? So if you want to go ahead, draw up where you think each person is, and then figure out where they actually are, I think that can be an interesting way of going about it. I will also say that I didn't include prices of like pop ones or something that's never sold, right? I didn't make up numbers. I used sales in the past and also sort of, recalibrated them to where we are today. And obviously there's some guesswork going on here. Just throwing that all out there before we get into it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's do that. So we'll start with the lesser GOATs and sort of work up to the better ones. Obviously, all great players. I collect all of them except Pele because, that's sort of outside my era. Nonetheless, all great players. No disparaging. But let's get on into it. So Cruyff has 3 different rookies, technically speaking, ranging from 1967 to 1970, or I guess the 69-70 season. First up is the 1968 Palarex Cruyff. Has a different spelling for his name on this one, so you always have to be aware of that, but that has a market cap in totality of 426K. We really have no reference for what that means in terms of comparing, so we'll continue onwards. The Verlag, which this says 68 on the slab, however, it's a 67-68 season, so from what I understand, this is quote-unquote a true rookie. However, it doesn't have the same sort of eye appeal, and recently it's been getting graded more and more, so, where does it play out long-term? Who really knows? But 103K, substantially less than the Palarex, which is sort of the vibe I've always gotten from the market. Little shocked that it's that much bigger, but, it is what it is. And then next to it, the Vanderhout, which is a 1968 through 70 release, because essentially the same sticker was released for both years, the same number in the set, the same everything, and there's no way to determine which year is which, at least as far as I know and as far as the market knows right now. That coming in over the Verlag is a bit surprising, but I will say with the Vanderhout, there's been a ton of high grades recently, and typically when there's high grades, people are going to pay higher. The Verlag doesn't have many high grades, so I think that's part of what has it down there. But overall, I thought that was a very interesting one that, collectively between the Vanderhout and the Verlag, that's only half of what the Palarex does. So definitely some information to be gained there. Next, we have Ronaldo rookies. Not the same sort of GOAT debate around him that there was pre-Messi winning the World Cup, and I think that's pretty fair. Also, Ronaldo going to the Saudi League sort of hurts his brand. Still, top 5 all time, at least as far as I'm concerned. I think the market is concerned. But first rookie here, we have the football sticker at 1.38 mil. This being a good bit higher than, even all the Cruyffs in totality. This doubles all the Cruyff market cap, so that's pretty crazy to think about, but also at the same time, there's so many more collectors for Ronaldo nowadays than there is Cruyff, so you're always going to have that sort of, struggle between the two. If you want to guess what you think the Mega Cracks would be, now would be the time to do so, because if we go back, 4.45 mil is the total market cap for the Mega Cracks, which, again, I think it's a bit high. Personally, I actually prefer the sticker. Generally speaking, it's more rare. Also, I think the picture just looks better, but the market, obviously doesn't care what I think. I'm just one man, just like you guys are. So, we all have our own opinions. The Mega Cracks is an amazing card and also something to be highly coveted. 4.45 mil, though, is, pretty high. But at the same time, Ronaldo only has 2 rookies. We're going to talk more about, some ones here in the future where they have, 3, 5, 10, 20. So it's still pretty low in terms of when you look at other GOATs and how much they have in terms of options. Then we have Maradona rookies. You could sort of make the case here that he only has 1 rookie. That would be the football disc from 1977. The total market cap for that is close to $1 million, which is about what the Ronaldo sticker was in totality, but obviously the Ronaldo card sort of dwarfs this. With Cruyff, I did take his first and second year stuff. With Maradona, I'm going to do the same, and with Pele, I did the same. So, it's pretty fair, I guess, across the board in terms of vintage, what we'll be doing here. Next is the crack portrait picture. There are 2 in this set. The other one's a caricature. This one, more of a portrait, more of the generally light item within that set. I will say, fun little note is that whenever I look back at like old prices from, 3, 4, 5, 7 years ago, whatever it is, these were a lot more comparable. A disc in a low grade went near the same price as an Argentine kit. As you can tell, that's sort of not played out over time. The Argentine kit picture is sort of getting more and more graded while the football disc isn't, and so I think that plays a big factor here. Keep in mind, I haven't mentioned this yet, but market cap for cards is such a silly concept in the sense that you cannot go out and buy all these, right? To get the market cap, I take the current market price, multiply times all of what's out there, right? All of what's out there, people are not selling at the current market price, or else they would be doing that. So, it's somewhat futile, but it's nice to be able to put it all in perspective in terms of how these things compare in some way. So do keep that in mind. But 945K to 300K, pretty steep drop off there. Next up, we have the caricature, which comes in at 185K. So, about 60% of the total market of the Argentine kit portrait picture. Caricature, typically, less coveted because it's not really a picture of Maradona. It is a drawing, and personally, nowadays people love mangas and all that stuff, but when it comes to older stuff, I guess it's a little more frowned upon. Also, fun note, this picture from the 78 crack is just the same picture from the 77 football with an Argentine kit basically photoshopped onto him. You can tell basically, same picture, same background, same sky, all the same. Looks much better in my opinion, but obviously at the same time it's a year later, so it is what it is. Finally, you have the Estampas at 130K, a good bit lower than the rest, which I thought was a little surprising. Can be a little less aesthetically pleasing at times. I mean, just looking across the board here, this is kind of hard to see what's going on, but they vary a lot from sticker to sticker in terms of the eye appeal of it, just like everything else, so you're gonna have that same problem. Adding them all up though, basically the Maradona second year market has about 600 to 700,000 worth of rookie material in it, while the 77 year has 945K. So the first year is still head and shoulders over the rest even combined, so that's holding up really well. Now we go to Messi, and this is where it's going to sort of crank up in terms of the number of rookies. So starting out, we have 1.25 mil for the Monday Chromo market. Just comparing backwards, I mean, that Monday Chromo market is more than the entirety of the Maradona football disc market, which is, again, pretty strange, pretty wild. But obviously, like the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, a ton more Messi collectors in the market than there are going to be, Maradona, Cruyff, and sometimes even Pele. Next up, we have the Monday Chromo panel at 136K, sort of a least preferred rookie, and we'll come to find out it is the least preferred rookie of all the Messis because it has 4 people on it, 2 on the front, 2 on the back. This is Messi right here. Personally, I like it when you just consider totality of market cap. It's a tenth of the price of the regular Monday Chromo. I think that's a pretty fair price. Next to it, it does have, I guess, a competitor in the sense that there is foils within the set too, and that comes in at a market cap of 150K. So combine those, it's 280K for both of them. Personally, I like the foils a lot. I just think that, you can get them cheap sometimes. It's the only foil Messi rookie, and so they're kind of cool. Obviously, very unique design and something I can understand why people wouldn't like it if they don't. Next, we have the blue Campione and Campio. I just lumped them together to make this easier to display, but that is 1.12 mil, which, to be honest, I thought was a little high, considering, as we'll come to find out, there are 3 of these in the set, and that's the market cap of the Monday Chromo, so seems a bit high. But next up, we have the white Campione and Campio, which is actually 1.4 mil, which was surprising to me because these sell for less. However, there's about double the population of these compared to the other 2 that we'll we'll talk about. So that's really where that comes from. So to think that it's higher market cap doesn't make too much sense, but when you say, you know, there's double as many out there, I guess I can see why that's happening then. And then to round out the Mega Cracks team set, we have the green one, which has a market cap of 830K. This is actually one of the hardest to grade for the Campios, so, you know, gonna have lesser of a number of the higher ones, which may play a role in that. And then we have the S-Day sticker at 1.05 mil. I actually think that that's, you know, pretty criminal. Now, I will say PSA hasn't graded the Messi S-Day sticker in about a year because of the fake situation they had to pay out on a PSA 10, I believe. I do not know that for sure, but it would seem that way. In addition to that, you know, CSG and SGC got battered with fakes, so I'm sure that that sort of set off alarm bells, and so they stopped grading it. So yes, it is, you know, less than the white Campione, it's less than the Money Chromo, but I think if they would have kept grading it for this year, it would have been slightly more than those two. And then finally, the Mega Crack 71 bits coming in at 3.18 million. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over time, because obviously the 71 bits is head and shoulders over everything else, but will it, you know, continue to sort of separate itself, or will the other ones stay close and still be comparable? I think it'll be fun. Personally, as a Messi collector, you know, I don't just buy 71 bits, I have one of all of them at least, and I'm always looking to upgrade and, you know, sort of get better ones because it's something that I enjoy. But overall, looking at this, I will say, sort of surprised by how low it is. I mean, just when we compare the 71 bis right here at 3.1 mil, remember the Mega Cracks Ronaldo was like 4.5 mil. Now, to be fair, again, Ronaldo only has 2 rookies, while Messi has all of these on the board here and some variations within it, right? So you do have to keep that in mind, but the idea that the 71 bis market in total is less than the Mega Cracks Ronaldo is pretty crazy to me. I didn't expect that coming into it. And I will also say that I do think that it's a bit strange that the Top Liga foil is basically the same market cap as the regular Top Liga, especially when you consider that if you look at pop reports, they're basically the same, which means people aren't really putting a premium on the foil because the pop reports look the same. But I've seen a picture before of someone from Spain who had like 20 or 25, and I know that that might sound crazy. People always hear that and they're like, oh my God, someone had 20 of these? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not hard. Like if you go out and you buy a lot from a few different people and they had a few, I mean, you can get that, right? You know, a decent amount of money in the soccer card market could go out and get 20 Messi rookies if they wanted. It's not impossible. But in that picture, I did see like 4 foils and probably like, you know, 15 of the non-foils. So that would lead me to believe that they're not the same sort of population. However, when you look at the PSA pop, there's really no way to tell. So it's hard to really get a gauge. So now we move on to the final of the GOATs, and that is Pele. So we'll start with his 1958 Swedish record. I did not include any of his 57 rookies in here because there's only 2 in the population for both of them for PSA. So with that said, it wasn't really necessary for me. Obviously, if you're a collector, someone looking at Pele, that is something to consider. The 58 record though, 500,000 worth of the market cap here. This is a magazine cutout, so there's tons of different ways that you can find this in terms of shape, sizes. It can be cut single, it can be cut duo. I included both the single and the duo cut for this market cap purpose. Next to that, we have the Gazzetta. I assume the same thing for the Gazzetta. I took both the Pele and the Pele plus Garrincha. I didn't include the other variations because there aren't that many, but 110K in total there. This one was just, I mean, shocking. Like, I knew the Alifa Boulaget, or Boulaget, I don't know how you pronounce it, but basically that is like the card for vintage soccer in terms of the one that, you know, everyone sort of looks at. And yeah, I mean, it seems to be that way. 13 mil for the market cap dwarfs anything else we've had by a lot. And, you know, probably rightfully so. Personally, just seeing this market cap sort of makes me not hate on the Gazzetta and stuff like that as much. You know, I've always said I don't like the Gazzetta. The Gazzetta is an album cover that got cut out. And so basically, you know, there's a lot more of these out there. They're pretty plentiful, but it does look good. And when you tell me, you know, it's less than 1% of the market cap of the Alifas, it doesn't seem as crazy. Now, am I going to run out and buy Gazettas? Probably not, but it just, you know, sort of food for thought, gets you thinking. Next to that, we have the Americana Pele. This is the same photo as the Gazzetta, as you can tell over there. Looks a little bit better. I like the Pele at the bottom. Much more scarce as well. The total market cap for that is 660K, mostly because it's a conventional release, an amazing looking Pele and pretty rare, while compared to that, it's not a conventional release. Then we have the Titulares. This actually has 2 different versions, and I put them both together. Within those versions, there's also then a broken down version. To be fair, I didn't break them down and compare how many of this and that. you know, if PSA is not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. Nonetheless, about 500K there for the market cap too. So, you know, not bad in comparison to most Pele's, but in comparison to the Alifas, still just absolutely dwarfed. We have a second page here. This is the Fakring rookies. This is a lot of sort of, you know, action shots, team photos, stuff like that. I combined them all together. This is the most famous one, the crying Pele, where he's right there in the middle, sort of crying on a shoulder after winning the World Cup. And so it's just a really cool one, but that comes in at 430K in total for all of them combined. Then you have the Aquarellas, which are at 902K. This is very preferred by the market at the moment. It's also pretty abundant in terms of population, but such a good photo, you can tell why people like it. Then we have the Montigum. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to say in terms of that. 160K, you know, not too great of a total market cap for that one, and probably justified. Next to that, you have the 1958 Vav. This is a duo of Pele and Vava, and pretty rare, at least as far as I can tell, and others tell me, so it would seem that way. Also, you know, not too expensive, as you can tell, total market cap 170K. To be fair, a lot less of these than something like the Montigum, so you gotta take that into account, but overall, not too terribly high. And then finally, I put this 1958 Tupinamba in here. This is the Quigol. This was the old preferred rookie when people actually thought it was 1958. Now I believe people say 1959, so this says 58, 59. That's also an old label, labeled in the 27 million cert. Now it's 59 or maybe even 60, I do not know. It's still an amazing looking Pele, but as you can tell, the market cap's still really high, presumably because a lot of people put a lot of money into this thinking that it was the rookie, so it sort of held a really high price point. And also, I mean, to be fair, it looks amazing. I mean, in terms of all the ones we just looked at, I think it looks the best. But at the end of the day, you know, is looking the best going to carry it? Probably not. So all of this begs the question, well, what are they like together, right? What does each market cap in total look like compared to the other? And that's where we're going to go now. So at number 5, you have Cruyff at 650,000 for his total market cap. Pretty low, as we'll come to see, compared to Maradona, who is at 1.55 mil for his total market cap. Keep in mind, you know, the vintage guys, they don't have as much love. So we're going to have, you know, some more modern guys next, and that's just something to consider, right? We have Ronaldo here at 5.83. Now, that's a pretty shocking number when you consider, oh my gosh, that's like 10 times the Cruyff, that's like 3 times the Maradona. But in reality, there's 10 times the Ronaldo collectors as there are Cruyffs. There's probably 3 times as many, you know, Ronaldo collectors as Maradona. So those numbers, while they seem crazy, I don't really think they are that crazy, right? If you did the same thing with basketball, I mean, it'd be insane. Like LeBron's market cap compared to, you know, an old go to the game that people don't care as much about anymore, it would dwarf it. So to be fair, just because they might be the same caliber player doesn't mean they have the same caliber of, you know, market. Then at number 2, we have the Messi market at 9.1 million. I was actually kind of surprised that Ronaldo was as close as he was, especially given recent events, you know, 6 mil compared to 9 mil. Not a huge step up for Messi in total, but when you do have more rookies, people are going to be less inclined to buy just because they don't know what to buy. So that might be sort of a hindrance for the Messi market in total. And then finally, we have Pele at 17.9 million. So Pele just doing laps around everyone, double the Messi market, more than 3 times the Ronaldo, you know, more than 10 times Maradona, and more than like 30 times Cruyff. So Pele just in a world of his own. I sort of wanted to make a video about how Pele was in a world of his own, but this video sort of summarized what I was getting into, and you know, gives you a lot more information. So I really enjoyed going through this. Takeaways for me, you know, I've basically employed this strategy throughout my entire collecting soccer history. I don't buy Pele, but I'll buy the other 4 GOATs has been my theory, and mostly because of what you see here. I mean, per market cap, the market cap of the other 4 is equal to Pele. I'd rather have the other 4, but, you know, that's partly because Pele's from the 50s, 60s, 70s. That's probably, you know, not something I'm very akin to. That's not something I resonate a lot with. So for me, I'd rather go for the other 4. But I understand why people want Pele. 3 World Cups, all the goals. You know, he has so much going for him, and he's basically the staple of the soccer card market. So really fun to see this. But yeah, that is going to be it for the video today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Again, took me a lot of time, took me a lot of effort, and I think it's pretty useful information that I'm just throwing out there for you guys. So if you do as well, I'd appreciate a like greatly. On top of that, if you want to let me know in terms of what you thought was high, low, or properly priced, let me know in a comment down below. Always love going through the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.